What's going on guys, it's your boy Mr. Woz, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to do the Giants Foundry minigame, and by the time you have watched this video you will master this and realise how easy it actually is. Now before you can enter this minigame you will need to complete the quest Sleeping Giants. This is a very short quest taking around 10 to 15 minutes, so it's not too bad. Now the best and fastest way to get here is by using the minigame teleport to Giants Foundry, as it takes you right outside the cave. If you need to wait for your next free minigame teleport, you can use a Ring of Dueling to the PvP arena and run southeast, past the gates and follow the path round to get to the cave. Or you can use a Glory teleport to Al-Qarid and run east past the gates and follow the path round until you reach the cave. And for the recommended items you will need bars, so depending on your smithing level you will be using bronze bars all the way up to runite bars. So for level 15 smithing you can use bronze and iron bars, for 30 smithing you can use steel bars, 50 smithing you can use mithril, 70 for adamant and 85 for runite bars. So before we start, go to the plugin hub on Runelite and type in Giant and install the Easy Giants Foundry plugin. That will make this minigame 100 times easier for you, as it has done for me. You don't need to touch any of the settings inside the plugin as well, just turn it on and it will tell you exactly where to go and click, but it's a bit more complex than that. And lastly, to make this even better for you, make sure you go to the display settings in game and select the classic or modern layout, as you will be able to see more clearly when you start the minigame, and you will see why in a minute. So starting off you need to talk to a guy called Kovac and get your first commission. Then as highlighted by Runelite you need to click on the setup mold jig right next to you and you will come to this section. Now as he has asked me to create a light flat, you need to select the highest light and flat options for all three parts of the sword. Now to make this even easier for you guys, the text will be highlighted green to show what is the best section for the sword. Next I will move on to the blade section and do the same thing for that and select the one highlighted green, and for the final section which is tips, repeat the same process. Now for the most amount of points and smithing XP you want extra commission bonuses, which is shown at the top left of this window. As I have picked the best sections I get a plus 10 extra flat and a plus 4 light, which is going to make the sword higher quality, and try and get the boost for both light and flat in my case for the best quality sword. So once you have selected your three molds, click set mold at the top right and then you can start. Next you want to run to the bank chest just northeast, and this is where your bars come into play. And as I mentioned earlier, for level 15 smithing you can use bronze and iron bars, so take 14 bronze and 14 iron bars. For 30 smithing take out 14 iron and 14 steel bars, 50 smithing take out 14 steel and 14 mithril bars, 70 smithing take out 14 mithril and 14 adamant bars, and for 85 smithing or higher use 14 adamant and 14 runite bars like I have in my inventory. Now once you have done that, next to you is a big pot called the Crucible. Click on that to fill it up, and once you have added all your bars click on pour and that will melt all those bars and pour the metal into the mould you selected earlier. So click on pick up from the mould jig and you will hold a massive sword in your hands. Also Kovac will time you throughout this minigame, but don't worry about that too much. So as you can see the minigame becomes overwhelming as you can see, but I need to explain a few important details about this overlay, so don't worry, I will spare you all the unnecessary details and tell you exactly what to do for every single run. So the top of this overlay is your quality of the sword, the middle bar is your temperature, and the bottom bar is the completion of the sword. Now depending on the quality this can vary from 7 steps, which roughly takes me around 5 to 6 minutes per run, and for the lower quality swords you will have 6 steps, I think as low as 5 steps using bronze and iron bars. Now the only 2 bars you want to focus on is the temperature and the completion bar. So as you can see there is different colours for different stages of making the sword. We have green, red and orange. Green is to cool down the sword by using the waterfall, then using the polishing wheel. Red is to heat the sword by using the lava pool, then using the trip hammer. and orange is to cool down the sword by using the waterfall, then using the grindstone. But because I want to make this very easy for everyone, we will just focus on the colours. So once you have collected your sword, you will need to run to your first step. Now both colours from the temperature bar and the completion bar must match, so red has to match red, etc. Now make sure the arrow is close to the right hand side of the red bar. Once you have done that, go to the highlighted area, which is the trip hammer. Now as you're making a sword, the temperature bar will drop fairly quickly, and also the completion bar will go up at the same time. Now once the arrow goes towards the left hand side of the red bar, just simply run to the lava pool behind you and reheat the sword until the arrow goes back up like so. Now you need to concentrate and wait for the completion bar to highlight the next step, so click off the section you're on when you see that to avoid any mistakes. So for the next step, run towards the waterfall and cool down the sword until the temperature goes towards the green bar. And also make sure the arrow is on the right hand side of the green bar, just like I did with the red bar at the start. Now whilst I was on the polishing wheel, you will notice a yellow box around my overlay, which means you will get a boost. And as you can see, it will shoot your completion bar towards the end like so, and doing the same to your temperature. Now for the orange section, you will need to heat the sword as the arrow is all the way to the left hand side. But this time you want the arrow to start on the left hand side of the orange bar, and this is the only colour where it's slightly different from the red and green bar, if that makes sense. Now once your arrow is close to the left side of the orange bar, go to the grindstone, which again RuneLite will show you where that is, and start creating your sword again. And this time, once the arrow reaches the right side of the orange bar, you will need to use the waterfall to cool down the sword to get the arrow back to the left side of the orange bar, and then you can continue your sword. And once you have completed the orange section, you have completed all three colours, and to carry on, literally just repeat the steps I mentioned earlier. If you make a mistake, then not to worry, I made loads of mistakes at the start of this, but after around 2 to 3 runs I got the hang of it very quickly and it almost became AFK. And once you have completed, go to Kovac and hand in the sword you made for him. If you manage to get 100% completion without ruining the sword, then fantastic. You will be rewarded with a nice amount of smithing experience, coins and Foundry reputation. Also, your run energy will be restored by 50%, which is nice. Now before ending the conversation, he will ask you if you want another commission, but for this video I'm going to choose no, as I want to show you the reward shop. So here is all the rewards you can buy using your Foundry rep. You can also buy molds which will increase your Foundry rep, XP and GP per run, sword quality, etc. And they are listed on screen now, as I have purchased them already. Now what I have here is the most optimal mold unlock order for maximum points when doing this minigame according to the OSRS wiki. So starting from the top, we have the most optimal molds from level 79 smithing or higher, and this is what I've done in that exact order. If you are level 79 smithing or lower, you will use this list. I'll leave the link in the description below so it saves you hunting for it later on. Okay, so let's talk about the Smith's uniform. Now, unlike other outfits in old school RuneScape, you don't get the 2.5% bonus XP, but each piece of the Smith's uniform will give you a 20% chance to speed up a smithing action performed on any anvil in RuneScape, up to 100% when using the full outfit, and this is the same when doing a Giant's Foundry minigame. Now to some people this doesn't sound great, but this actually gives you a 15% experience increase when smithing on anvils and in the Foundry. Next we have the Colossal Blade, which is 5,000 reputation points. This actually looks really cool when equipped, but I wouldn't suggest using this for training your combat skills. Low level PKing maybe, but that's about it in my opinion. Next we have the Smithing Catalyst, which contains 13 noted ores, which can be any combination from coal, iron ore, mithril ore, adamant ore and runite ore, which is very handy for Iron Men. Next we have Kovac's Grog, which is a +4 temporary smithing boost, which is very handy for lower levels. And lastly we have Double Mould when making cannonballs. This will double your GP rates per hour from 140k to 280k GP per hour, which is a big jump. and again great for an Iron Man. All of these items that you see on screen now are all collection log items apart from the moulds that I showed you earlier on. So there we have it guys, that is how you do the Giants Foundry minigame. I really hope this video has helped you out. If it did, leave a comment down below and let me know how you're getting on. Like the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video.